Christmas bird count was started in the year 1900 in a couple dozen locations in the US and Canada. Today, there are over 2,500 Christmas bird counts across the Western Hemisphere. The counts are currently administered by the Audubon in the United States and Birds Canada in Canada. The following was recorded in the Bruce Peninsula a day after participating in the 47th Tobermory Christmas bird count. So I'm at the 40 Hills area on the Bruce Trail, very close to Lion's Head. And I've got a bunch of chickadees worked up. So one of the techniques people use Christmas bird count is if you hear chickadees nearby and you want to attract them near you, use a technique that's called spishing. And so as they calm down, I'll demonstrate it a little bit here. So it's like making a lot of S-type sounds with some P's, so the hand spishing. So it may not work on them a second time. So I've got one within a couple feet of me here. It's very curious. So this will bring the chickadees over, and sometimes you'll bring over whomever's flocking with them. In this case, I think it's all chickadees. I think they've figured out that I'm not really sounding any kind of an alarm or anything. What happens when you do that is you hit a whole bunch of frequencies at the same time, and it really makes them curious. Things like S's, when you look at them on a spectrograph, they don't sit at a certain frequency. They are all across the frequency. They're kind of like static noise. And those kinds of calls are used by some bird species as a warning. So this is what works them up. Now, much like playback and whistling and things like that, there's a certain level to ethics to it too. You don't want to do that constantly, but it's good for when you're trying to bring species to you when you're doing a count, so you know how many are around. So in this case, I had 9 chickadees around me. Before I'd kind of heard one in the distance, so that's what prompted me to call them in initially. And sometimes they'll have other species with them. I'm going to see if I can find some more, maybe with some red-breast nuthatch open. My name is Rob, and this is a Songbirding Christmas Bird Count Special. I'm on Isthmus Bay Road, very close to Swan Lake Lane and the 40 Hills Road. I'm starting to hear a chickadee in the distance. So, I'm going to try a spish and bring it over. So it's coming. There we go. It's one bird. It's calling in his friends. You can hear a second one. Oh. It's a red-breast nuthatch here too. It's been a nuthatch right in front of me, red-breast. It's not saying anything yet though. Shh, psh, psh, psh. This is the red-breast nuthatch. It's a very nasal call. It sounds a lot like the white-breast nuthatch. You have to kind of get to know the two. Some say this one sounds more like a yank, 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 but it really depends on the type of call they do. He's getting quiet again. Alright, I'm gonna go find another flock. So I'm at the MTB Adventure Park. I've got some chickadees and red-breast nuthatch around me. And nuthatch coming very close to me here, red-breast nuthatch. It's not saying anything, but you might hear the wing beats. A little bit of squeak. Nuthatch is only a couple feet away. Got a second nuthatch here now. It's got two red-breast nuthatch right above me here. Let's see if I can get them to say anything. What's that? There's some other call I don't recognize in there. The eweet call, I don't know what that was. And now, the nuthatches are angry about something, as are the chickadees. I'm going to walk over to where they are, see what's going on. Oh, we got goldfinch. Yeah, what is that? So there's American goldfinch here somewhere. These nuthatches are not happy about something. As the chickadees. Might have been a purple finch call, I don't know. There it was again, pretty quiet. Nuthatches are making quite a racket. Making a lot of soft warbly sounds. It's very quiet and amongst each other, but it doesn't sound like the other call I heard before. Nuthatches are having quite a conversation here. This call did turn out to be a purple finch. My initial hunch, it seems, was correct here. They sometimes use this vireo-like call. Next, we're headed 200 kilometers south, around Hamilton, Ontario. The following was recorded in both Valens Lake Conservation Area and in Dundas Valley Conservation Area. So I found American tree sparrow calling here. This is one of our winter species. Kind of a chew call. And you can hear this rattling that's Turca junco calls. You'll often find the two species together. Dark-eyed junco flock together a lot. Fairly big flocks. Not super big, not in the hundreds, but can be up to the dozens. Or it can be just 3 or 4 sometimes. But they'll flock with other species, especially white-throated sparrow and American tree sparrow. They can actually hybridize with the white-throated sparrow. They're so closely related. But that's a fairly uncommon thing. So winter birding can be really interesting because what all the snow does, and I guess I'm talking about winter birding in more the northern part of North America, what happens is the snow brightens everything up, so being able to see birds can be easier, especially if there's sun out. Photography can be so much better, and snow absorbs a lot of sound. So you get a different kind of sound out of everything, especially when I'm recording something like this. But I find that means you can pick birds out a little easier sometimes because everything's just a little deader sounding, a lot less reverberation going on, so you can pick out where a bird's sound is coming from a little easier. Got several American goldfinches here. There's also downy woodpecker, red-belly woodpecker, Carolina wren. And dark-eyed junco. It's also northern cardinal and white-throated sparrow. That's Carolina wren. Another Carolina wren. There's a gray squirrel. Dark-eyed junco. Yeah, this bubbly, puttering kind of call is Carolina wren. We're at the extreme northern end of their range here in the Dundas Valley. They don't go much further north than here right now, but they're expanding their territory. This is Valens Lake. We got some black-capped chickadees. High-pitched ringing is brown creeper. But there's also some golden-crowned kinglets here too. And American robins. And I just saw a downy woodpecker go by. Here comes a crow. There goes the crows. These are American crows. Black-capped chickadee call. So this is a mixed flock. Crows are kind of a separate flock, but this mixed flock is robins, chickadees, kinglets, woodpeckers, and creepers. Sounds like there's a nuthatch as well too. Crows here are pretty talkative today. The Songbirding Christmas Bird Count Special was recorded, engineered, narrated, and created by me, Rob Porter, with Creative Commons music from Scott Buckley and Kat Clare. You're listening to some trumpeter swans. A lot of crows around me too.